Hey, it is 12 noon on Wednesday, which means it's time for this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. I'm John Kursmo, and the show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. Got my Tampa School of Real Estate green on today, and what we're talking about is a question we get very often, and that's really the question for the reason why we're in business, and that's obtaining your real estate license. So what does it take to get a real estate license? What are the renewal requirements? What are the things you have to do to start a real estate career? What if you want to become a broker? These questions and more, anything you guys submit in live as well, we're answering today on this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. Got a great episode for you today. I'm John Kursmo. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. You're watching Ask the Instructor.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Kursmo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. I'm John Kursmo, and every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time, we come to you live to help you understand the technical side of the real estate industry. And nothing really gets more technical than the licensing process, but that's what we exist for. We're here to make this process easy. You know, anytime it is that you're trying to seek out information, it used to be where you could just Google something and you get a straightforward answer to what it is that you are looking for. But now it seems that Google, because there's so much information out there, you don't always get, especially when you're looking for something a little bit more particular, you don't always get the perfect or best answer or anything like that. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to help you understand what's the process look like for obtaining your real estate license. What do you have to do to start your real estate career? What do you have to do to renew and keep your real estate license? What if you want to become a broker? What does that look like? We're talking about all this, and of course this is live, so if you guys have questions about any part of this process, feel free to put them in the live chats. I got both of them loaded up here in front of me, so we'll be able to respond to any questions it is that you have that we don't necessarily cover on today's show. But let's start off, first and foremost, with obtaining your real estate license. Try to line that up there so we don't get too many glare from the studio lights. So that's what we'll cover first here, obtaining your license, obtaining a real estate license. And we always recommend as the first step, although you can do some of these other steps in a different order, we'll talk about that in a second, but we always recommend as the first step, the pre-licensing course. Now this pre-licensing course, it is required by the Florida Real Estate Commission. This course, it's required by the Florida Real Estate Commission. The Florida Real Estate Commission is the government body that's in charge of the real estate industry in Florida, and they say, hey, if you want to get a real estate license, you have to take this pre-licensing course. That's one of the prerequisites to getting a real estate license. We offer this course online and in the classroom. Check out tampaschool.com or give us a call. You'll see the links down below where you can find more information about those classes. We have day classes, evening classes, morning classes, multiple locations throughout the Tampa Bay area, as well as an online course you could access anywhere around the world. So definitely check that out. Now, there are some exemptions where you're not required to take this pre-licensing course. One of these exemptions is if you're an attorney and you're in good standing with the Florida Bar. So if you're an attorney that's in good standing with the Florida Bar, you're actually exempt from the pre-licensing course, so you don't have to take the pre-licensing course. You do still have to take a real estate license exam, the same exam you'd take if you were not an attorney, so you still have to be able to pass that exam. We've got a lot of study materials if you're not looking to take the course as an attorney, but that's still an option. You can take the course, but you're not required to if you're an attorney. A second exemption we have is if you have a 4-year real estate degree. So if you have a 4-year degree in real estate, which not many schools offer a 4-year degree in real estate, you would be exempt from the pre-licensing course. But that's not just any bachelor's degree, not just any 4-year degree. It's specifically a degree in real estate. So if you have a degree in real estate, then also you're going to be exempt from the pre-licensing course. Again, you still have to pass the state exam, but you are exempt from the course. Now, a third situation where you're going to be exempt is through what's called mutual recognition. And mutual recognition allows is in certain states, I believe it's about 7 currently, if you have a license in one of these particular states, you're exempt from having to take the pre-licensing course as well. But again, you still have to take an exam, but this one's actually only a 40-question exam. If you're concerned about whether or not you qualify for any of this stuff, give us a call. We'll try to answer that question for you, or we might send you to the DBPR if it's something a little bit more particular of a scenario. But we have direct answers for any one of these ones, which states they are, whether or not your degree may count. That may be something we might have to refer you to the DBPR for. But give us a call, because for most cases we can answer that question for you. So if you're one of those situations, you're exempt from the pre-licensing course, but again, you still need to be prepared to pass that end of state exam. So aside from those exemptions, you have to take this pre-licensing course. And this pre-licensing course, it's a 63 credit hour course, and there's an end of course exam. The exam for the course is 100 questions. It's multiple choice. And you need a 70% to pass. So 100 questions, multiple choice, and you need a 70% to pass, which gives you a pretty big margin of error, about 30% of the questions it is that you could miss. But all of these questions are based specifically on material that's covered in the pre-licensing course. This isn't a common sense examination, it's an examination of the material that you're learning in the pre-licensing course. And same thing for the state exam as well. And the state exam is actually structured just like this, 100 questions or multiple choice, the difference being that you need a 75% to pass the state exam. Now, some of the other things it is that you have to do in addition to just completing the pre-licensing course, which again, you can do that in the classroom, you can do that online, a lot of different formats we have for that. But what you'll also have to do is fingerprinting. And the fingerprinting is allowing the DBPR to do a background check on you, not just an FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement background check, but also an FBI background check on you based on your fingerprints, not even the name it is that you're saying that is your name. So they do this background check mainly. So the question, we get this question a lot as well, because no one's perfect, completely understandable. And maybe you have some sort of past with maybe some sort of criminal record in your past. It's still possible for you to get your real estate license, and whether or not you would be approved to get a real estate license, there's no black and white rule for this. Basically what it comes down to, the main things it is that they're looking for is things related to crimes of bad morals, like money laundering type of stuff, really anything with money or writing bad checks or anything like that. That might be something where you could run into trouble getting your real estate license application approved. Anything other than that, the Florida Real Estate Commission, what happens is that they'll review these applications, and if they want to hear from you, they'll request your presence at one of these monthly meetings, and they usually are going to request your presence at one of these meetings before they deny your application. And at this meeting, you have the chance to plead with the 7 members of the Florida Real Estate Commission as to why it is that you should get your real estate license. But that's really the whole purpose of the fingerprinting. So like I said, don't let that stress you out and make it seem like you can't get a real estate license. And if you want to find out for sure before kind of taking on too much in real estate and venturing too far into this and not getting your hopes up too much, you could do the fingerprinting, and the third thing you'll have to do is also an application. And this application is the actual application for your real estate license, and that's done with the DBPR, which stands for the Department of Business and Professional Regulation. So these two steps really kind of go together, the fingerprinting and the application. And these two steps, like I said, this is the order we recommend doing them in, but if you do have some sort of criminal background and you want to find out whether or not you can get a license before taking the course, you could absolutely do the fingerprinting and the application beforehand before you enroll in the course. You don't have to. If you don't have any criminal background, you don't need to do this before you enroll in the course. Or if your criminal background was a long time ago, it was maybe something minor, you're probably going to get approved. Like I said, if you want to know for sure, you can do the fingerprinting and then do the application with your DPR, and they're going to let you know through mail as to whether or not you can get a real estate license. They typically approve most applications. It's very rare when they decline an application. As long as all the information in the application is correct, you're typically going to be able to get approved for a real estate license. But again, if you want to find out for sure, you could accomplish those steps. Now, if you're curious about any of this stuff and further in depth and you want kind of to be guided and helped through this process, in the pre-licensing course, it actually discusses more in depth the fingerprinting process as well as the application, the types of information that has to go on your application. It's fairly straightforward if you read the information they're presenting you. It's pretty easy to do, but that's actually covered in the course, which is why we usually recommend taking the pre-licensing course first, because you find out about we actually bring a fingerprint vendor into our classrooms to take your fingerprints right there on site, so that way you don't have to go out to some other place, and we don't upcharge that at all. We don't take any cut on the fingerprinting. We just bring them in and we bring in the lowest price mobile vendor we could find to take your fingerprints and get those done all right on site for you. So the fingerprinting is done right in the class if you're taking it in class, and then we also have the application. We go over what needs to go in the application, that type of information in the course as well. Now, the fourth thing, and this only is allowed once you've been approved for your application, and once you're approved for your application, you're able to schedule your state exam. And the state exam is again 100 questions. It's multiple choice, but you need a 75% to pass the state exam. There's a few different testing centers. There's really testing centers all over the country. They're done by the company called Pearson VUE. They're the authorized test vendor for the state exam for real estate as well as a lot of other licenses. The benefit with Pearson VUE is that they have multiple locations all over the country. So even if you're taking your online course, let's say in New York, there's a lot of testing centers in New York, and you could just request your exam right there. Since it's a computer-based exam, it can be loaded very easily right on the computer. So you could take this as well as military bases all over the world that have a Pearson VUE testing center. You're able to take the state exam there. But again, you could only schedule your state exam once your application with the DBPR has been approved. If your application has not been approved yet, you're not able to schedule the state exam. And what you also have to do is have completed the pre-licensing course. Now, you can schedule your state exam before you're done with the course. There's no prerequisite of completing the course to schedule your state exam, just to take the state exam. So you do have to have your application approved to schedule your state exam, but you could schedule your state exam while you're still enrolled in the course. And then on the day it is that you go to take your state exam, you'll have to bring a completion certificate from your pre-licensing course to the state testing center. And if you're taking the course in class, we issue that certificate right there the same day that you take your exam. You get that certificate right there, so you're good to go right away. The online course, as long as we're open during normal hours of our operation, we get that completion certificate sent right over to you. If you're doing your exam at like 1 in the morning, we're probably not going to get it to you right away then, but probably the next morning we'll have your completion certificate sent out to you. Always just give us a call if any of this stuff, and we could always kind of work around certain things to make sure you could get your completion certificate in time for your exam. So just give us a call and we'd love to help you out with that. But yeah, that's the state exam. Again, you have to have that completion certificate to be able to take the state exam. It's again 100 questions, just like the class exam. It's multiple choice, and you need a 75% to pass. And then once you've passed your state exam, you could get you have a real estate license. It's not even that you already did your application for the license. As soon as you pass that exam, you have a real estate license. Now, at this point, your real estate license is not yet usable. So we're going to talk about what makes it usable, and we're also going to cover the cost of these different steps so you get an idea of what it's going to take financially to get your real estate license. But first, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com. Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. I'm John Chrismo, and this show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. What we're talking about today is the licensing requirements in Florida, what it takes to get a real estate license, to start a real estate career, to renew that real estate license, to upgrade your license to a broker, as well as what the benefits are of doing that. So that's what we're covering today. And what we talked about in the first segment, and if you missed any part of this, the recordings are going to be available on our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success. So make sure you check that out if you missed any part of this and you want to make sure that you can find that out. We actually have all these steps right on our website as well. Actually, even better, we've got a link you can go to. If you go to licensefl.com. Again, that's licensefl, like Florida, fl.com. That's licensefl.com. You could actually find this whole complete step-by-step guide here for obtaining your real estate license. But quickly, I want to cover the cost it is for each one of these. So first, let's start with the pre-licensing course. Now, you have a couple options. You could either do the classroom course, or you do an online course. Now, if you're doing a classroom course, that's currently $297. $297 is for the classroom course. If you're doing our online course, that's currently $249. And these prices may go up, so if you're watching this video anytime in the future, always check our website for the most current pricing on any of these. They've gone up in the past, but this is what it is right now. And same thing with all these here. So that's for your course that you'd have to take. For the fingerprinting, you're looking typically between $50 and $60, depending on where it is that you get it done. Maybe a little bit more than that. It usually